Thanks for staying with us. It's time to go now to the press to look at the headlines that made it to some of national dailies, the front pages of some of our national dailies. And to discuss that with me is Mr. Tunde Kolawole, a legal practitioner. Good morning and welcome to the program, Mr. Kolawole.
You're not feeling the pinch of this American too much.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Kolawole, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay, let's begin with nature news right away this morning. We're starting with the headlines. Nigerdock gets NPA's approval to develop Snake Island port. Maybe this diversification and all that is going to help us. Not only few ports that we have now, maybe the congestion will go with this. Let me just hear you on that headline.
Well, I think it is a good development for Nigeria. There are some countries of the world like China, India, and some of these other countries who have so many ports that business people and ordinary travelers could access whenever they want to make use of a port facility. Here in Nigeria, we have always depended on the one in Apapa, and then I think the one is in Port Harcourt and what as well, this crossing that. So if they are developing that, so in addition to what we now have in Lekki, I think it is a good business for us. Remember, during the Buhari era, there was this massive contention at the Apapa port before the Lekki port became functional and what have you. And even before that time, if you remember, during the Alhaji Shakari era, we had this massive congestion in the port. And then during the military too, we always so had, I think during the Gowon era, in which several cargoes of cement were being brought to the country, and then that led to very massive port congestion. During the last Buhari administration, in fact, the Buhari administration had to dispatch the vice president, Vice President Shimbajo, to come to Lagos to come and sort out what is happening. So I think this is good for us as a nation. Let us just hope that, let's remind the government that it's not just the number of ports that is very important, but the facilities and the efficiency that you have in there. Take, for example, a place like Ghana and Benin Republic. I am told it takes only about 2, 3, 4 days or maximum 1 week to export things and then clear cargo in those ports over there and what have you. Whereas in Nigeria, if you are exporting things and sometimes it will take 3 to 6 months. For now, we cannot be exporting yam and cassava because we are not efficient. Before the yams even get loaded into the ship, they already got rotten. So let's be mindful that it is not just the number of ports that's important, the facilities we have in there, and the cutting-edge technology and the efficiency that come with establishing those ports.
A newspaper is Sanwo-Olu champions waste to wealth model at 5th Waste Forum in Lagos State. I was reading this and I was just thinking about the steps that Lagos State has taken to clamp down on a lot of things, to ban a lot of things. If you're saying that there can be wealth made out of waste, why is the only solution to waste management banning things that especially are essential to people? We are hearing that by January, sachet water and even the PET bottles could be banned from our streets because they are clogging the waterways. And already takeaway, as we call them, the plates have been banned already in Lagos State because they are clogging the waterways as well. And so many other things that Lagos State is just doing because they feel that that's what is going to give us a cleaner environment. So when he's advocating waste to wealth, I wonder what they will be doing. I wonder what they'll be using for these and all that. So I'm just wondering aloud.
Well, let's say this, that or I will repeat what I've always said. The difference between animals and human beings is the management of waste. Any human society or community that is unable to manage its waste is not different from animals. The data is made, let us emphasize that not just in Lagos, all over Nigeria, we are facing catastrophic consequences as regards the management of our waste. Maybe because of the way we package our things, maybe because of our nonchalant attitude to the environment, maybe because of lack of education. You find that our people, when they use polythene, plastic materials and what have you, they just dump them by the roadside. Well, and we also want to blame government and where we should have a separate group and containers to take those waste, especially for people who are committing. You really don't have them there. We have also not tried to impart enough the culture, the education of being very careful with what we throw around the environment and the different places and what have you. And again, I want to add that certain ways are very, very difficult to manage compared to some other ways and what have you. And that is why you even find in Europe and America today, they are encouraging people to stop using those plastic materials, but rather to use materials to package things that are easily degradable, that will easily get rot and then they are recycled one way or the other. So if Europe is also in the way, it's also banning people, encouraging people not to use polythene materials for packages and what have you, then it will not be out of place around here. If the government in Lagos say they are banning the packages for packet water, for example, because you and I do people just drop those things differently wherever they find themselves at war. We also know that the government has not been able to provide a separate where people always bring, where people can dump those things when they are committing from a place to place. Also, to the level of waste to wealth management in this country recycling process is almost at a zero level. And that's why I say there are all sorts of opportunities in this country that people have not begun to tap into. Waste recycling is one of them. But if you don't put the necessary facility and enabling environment on ground for people to be able to key into the waste management or waste recycling processes and all that, the effort will go into lot. In addition, also remember that we have not instituted a regime whereby those who produce those things, those who produce bottled water, those who produce a certain water and other, we have not encouraged them to find a way to be able to get those things back after people have used them. In some countries of the world, people are even paid a stipend, but the prices of some of those products are reduced in a way to encourage people to return the packaging material after they have used them. So I think it's going to be a multi-pronged approach for us to be able to manage this polythene material, which I have been told by scientists take about 100 years to biodegrade. For those things to biodegrade and go back to nature, it will take about 100 years. And you and I know that is a century, that's a long time. And what happens? So the government needs to ensure a policy, a regime, whereby those who produce those things should be encouraged to find a way to recall the packaging back. We should also encourage people to invest in the waste recycling processes. I also have a feeling that we don't have enough people in the area of waste retrieval all over Lagos and the different parts of the country. We should encourage more people to go into that business so that the environment will become cleaner. Furthermore, don't forget that here in Lagos, from years ago, even right from the colonial era, what they used to sweep the streets are motorized vehicles, articulated vehicles, which they put on the road, and then those ones put their rollers on the road and all that. Before you know it, the road is cleared. But presently, what we do is a manual process. And you and I know that the manual process may not be as efficient as the articulated or the mechanized process. But who do you see in there? Young people are not the ones who see cleaning the road and what have you. They are basically very old women, very old women who are using very simple implements like brooms and rakes and what have you. But I would not want to discourage or say the Lagos government is wrong in the step they are taking to ban this sachet water. There are so many other ways You could package the surface water for people to have access to it. For example, you can have a miniature packages and all that. Instead of the 70, 75 CL and all that, you could have them in small bottles to sell to people. And then, like I also said, get those who produce those things to get the packaging part, and also even provide an incentive that if you return, for example, 100 plastics of bottled water or whatever, or even if it's packet water and all that, you are going to be getting this as an incentive for returning those processes. I think that is the one of the ways by which you can encourage our people to really key to this waste to or this recycling process that the Lagos State government is talking about.
I still think that the government should do their bit, and banning is not the way to go. You can't just ban and ban everything at the end of the day. I work on the island, and some of the longest streets are the ones that I pass through, and in all of these streets, I do not see a waste dump anywhere, even on the island. We depend on abokis, and if these abokis, as we term them, forgive the term, are the ones that will carry them, there's no way they will take them to the dump site that has been designated by the government. They will find a roadside and everywhere else to just dump these things and all that. So if the government provides what they need to provide, maybe, and then there is nothing done about aggressive campaign to make sure that people change their mindset. I don't know why the government sees that as some trivial thing, a very simple thing that they can just do without, you don't need to do a campaign. You just set your timelines and say you're going to ban this and that. At one point, maybe not today, but at one point in Cross River State, for instance, Calabar was adjudged the cleanest state, in the cleanest city in Nigeria. And that was not because of only the enforcement. It was because of an aggressive campaign that changed the mindset of the people. They made the people begin to feel that they are a very neat kind of people. And there was that phrase that in the Efik language meant that the Efik people or the Calabar people are Oyibos, as we will put them. And everybody began to feel that way, and it helped them. There was also a time in Texas that they said that the Texas was very, very dirty, maybe one of the dirtiest cities in the world. And there was this phrase that nobody messes with Texas. And everybody began to think along those lines, and everywhere became clean. There is power in campaigns and all that, but they are not doing anything about it. It's just to wake up any day and say, we've banned this. We've banned bikes because there are no bikes in America. We've banned sachet water because there are no sachet waters in India. We've banned this because you're comparing yourself to other places when you are not doing what you are supposed to do. But
I agree with you. I think 2-3 things are responsible for some of those things. The Calabar you are talking about, you remember when Donald Duke was the governor, he paid a lot of attention to the environment.
Yeah.
You also remember that when Fashola was in Lagos, he also paid a lot of attention to the environment. But with those two governors left, not many governors in Nigeria today bother too much about the environment. So the activities of leadership is also very crucial to some of these things. Furthermore, like you said, education is very, very important. I remember in those days, in New York, for example, the radio OYO, they have slots on a daily basis in which they campaign and educate people on the management of their waste and their environment and all that. If Lagos State, for example, has a radio station for traffic in which they educate people on routes to say where not to take, where there are problems and bottlenecks and all that, nothing stops them from using the same radio or even having another one to begin to educate the people on waste management and then the environment in which they live in and all that. It will go a long way in resolving some of these issues and the challenges that we have in there. It could even be more effective than some of the programs that are being rolled out now, because the programs that are being rolled out, one way or the other, is deny people jobs. And if, for example, we have 33% unemployment and all that, we shouldn't be taking any further steps that we excavate that challenge.
So was very, very concerned about the environment. I know that this waste to wealth was a very, very great thing on his agenda, but unfortunately he couldn't continue. And even the houses he built for these purposes have been abandoned. We can see some of them as we're passing, but that story for another day. Now, there's a story that is going on, that is on all the newspapers this morning. It's about the tax reform. On the Business NG, let's take the one that is on the Business NG. It says, okay, we're talking about the bill. Let's talk about the bill now. Uproar in House of Reps over Tinubu's tax reform bills. That's a small headline there on the Business NG. But that also is on the Daily Trust. Northern senators demand suspension of action on bills. The Reps silence spokesman over support for legislation, and Tinubu directs Justice Ministry to work with National Assembly on proposals. It's also on the Punch. Tax reform, Tinubu orders review as protests persist in National Assembly. I don't know what the hullabaloo is about this tax reform bills that the Northerners are crying over, but this is where we are right now. It's almost suspended, and the Northerners are crying foul that is marginalizing them. I don't know what your own take on the tax bills is, and whether you think what the Northern senators and governors are saying is justified.
Well, I haven't read the full details of that bill, but the little that I have read, in my humble opinion, the federal government would appear to me to be right in the bill that they have put before the National Assembly. For example, I think they said equality of states is going to carry 20%, and then they said derivation will carry, I think, 60%, and then I think they said population will carry another 20%, and then the percentage that's going to federal government is also going to be used and what happens. When you look at all these things and all that, you want to believe that the government is in the right track of doing the right thing. But unfortunately, it appears to me that some people from the different parts from the other parts of the country, only from the north, are seeing it differently. They are looking at the situation in which they think that might deny them the opportunities of having enough resources to be able to take care of themselves and what have you. Some other people are also looking at it as a kind of approach of stopping monkeys from walking, and then baboons doing the eating of what is produced and all that. Except the nation move in the right direction, in kind of fiscal federalism, this country will not develop. I emphasize as the House member that there is no part of this country that is not viable economically, politically, and otherwise. It's only that the leadership in the different parts of the country, especially at the local government level and state level, have been feeling too lazy. And most times we'll find out the leadership at that level is not putting on its thinking cap. In fairness to Asiwaju, before it became the Lagos State governor, I think the Lagos State was just generating about 600 million per month as a revenue. But when he got in there and all that, with some of the policies he put on ground and all that, the revenues skyrocketed to billions of naira on a monthly basis and yearly basis and what happens. And that is the plan that is sustaining Lagos today and all that. But on the other hand, the people in the other parts of the country are opposed to this bill and say, whatever Lagos State is generating today is because it is a commercial capital of Nigeria. And because it used to be the former federal capital as well, that the investment therein was created by all parts of the country and all that. And that because the capital has moved to Abuja, does not mean that Lagos State will now stop sharing what they had all collectively brought about in the Lagos environment. Whichever way we look at this and all that, if you're all talking about food federalism and what have you, this I think is the direction in which the entire country requires to go. So that this dependency on oil, you can find a way to solve the problem. It is not just on the level of industry alone. In the level of revenue generation, you can have fiscal federalism and also kind of use it as a catalyst for the different parts of the country to begin to develop. Without enough to pay, it's going to be difficult for us as a nation to feed ourselves. You go out there and now they say tomato is not available, they say onions are not available, they say pepper is not available because it has not come from the north. They also told cassava is not available and all that. The point out to all this is that if a northern part of the country, for example, concentrated energy alone on agriculture, they will be able to meet their challenges of generating sufficient revenue to run that environment. I think the people in the north should think like a patriot and give this bill a trial, just like it was done to the Petroleum Act and what have you.
Let's just drop it at that point. And it's been wonderful talking with you. And we hope to see you again next week, as usual. We hope that you'll have a wonderful time. Thank you so much, Mr. Kolawole.
Thanks for having me. You have a wonderful day.
You too. We've been talking with Mr. Tunde Kolawole, a legal practitioner. We're looking at some of the headlines that made it to the front pages of some of our national dailies. We'll take a short break, and when we return, Sanwo-Olu signs Lagos electricity bill into law. That's what we'll be dealing with. Stay with us.